Christmas, everybody. Well, almost. Sorry about this, but I've been so busy with the holidays and such, and some more Christmas videos that I have made with overlays and stuff that I have forgot that I got backed up with the top 5 Christmas movies of my favorites, and the worst as well. So I'm collaborating them in both of this little top 5 video for you. Sorry it took so long, but I had to do a lot of other videos first. And it took a while to figure out, but now I'm ready to do it. So, for no long waiting, here are my top 5 best Christmas movies and worst, which we do after the best ones. We're going to get the best ones out of the way first. Now for the number 5 best, Winnie the Pooh. Very, very Pooh year. This movie is one of my favorites, probably, because of the fact that I grew up with Winnie the Pooh lots. Winnie the Pooh was my favorite show growing up as a kid. So having this as a Christmas special was really a treat for me. This one's a collaboration of some of your favorite Christmas specials of Winnie the Pooh, like this one where they write a list to Santa and they forget to bring it. Like, that's a classic. There's one where they do a Happy New Year one, which is also very cute as well, and it teaches you very good lessons. This special is a special to all kids, and it should be treated to grow up with. So, I hope you like it as much as I do, and you should appreciate it. Number 4, Frozen. I'm sure a lot of you love Frozen a lot, and I'm sure you're upset about it being on the lower part of the list, but I have a lot of Christmas movies to get to, and not a lot of them are on the same list as the others. So some are going to get panned, okay? So at least just be nice that it's on this list. And here's a little song for you to sing to. Frozen is one of my favorite songs that ever came out newly during a few years ago. It had a lot of great songs. It has a really good lesson. And I really love Olaf. I really love Olaf. He's adorable in this movie. Honestly, I love every minute of this movie. It's just a treat to watch. I remember when I watched it with Brendan, my friend. It was so awesome. I remember having so much fun in this movie. So it should be enjoyed by many others. Just don't expect it to be any more up this list. I had a lot of other movies that I like more than this. Just to be clear, it's not that it's not a bad movie. I just like other movies that are better. I just think. But anyway, number 3, Muppet Christmas Carol. This was my first introduction to a Christmas Carol story. And as I watched this more, I love it even more. I watch it with my brothers and my family all the time. It's really an enjoyable movie to watch. It's a Christmas Carol version, but with the Muppets. And it features a lot of good actors, and it really is an amazing movie to watch. I highly recommend it. It brings up a good version of the story. It has a lot of great songs that I love, like Scrooge, the song, and other songs like Marley and Marley. All these songs are very catchy, and I just love them. And also, they don't reuse the Muppets all that much. They treat them like equals, and they're like stories to tell more. That's why I like this one. It's the best, and it's so funny, and it's a really thing I grew up with when I was a kid. So having this to be my first introduction to the Christmas Carol was awesome. And it brought more. Number 2, Home Alone. This movie was one of my first live-action Christmas I ever watched as a kid. So having this movie was really amazing, I thought. Having to grow up with 2 of the movies that I loved and laughed at a million times. I watched it with my friends and my family a lot. Home Alone was one of those movies where you just laugh at everything you see. It's just a lot of fun. You know, like, you just know everything that's going to happen. You just know that when something funny is going to happen, you just say it right there. This is funny. This movie is definitely one Christmas movie you have to watch. 1 and 2 are just the most funniest movies I have ever seen. Merry Christmas, Little Animal. That's all I gotta say about it, really. And what's there not to love, really? Before we get to number 1, here are a few honorable mentions. Frosty the Snowman. This movie is, well, pretty good. I grew up with this movie, so I had to mention it here. There's a lot of people who love this movie, so I gotta mention it here. The Nightmare Before Christmas. This movie was a very classic treat for me, but the reason why I'm putting it on this list is because I want to put it in my Halloween top 5 as well. So the only way I could put them all together in one place would be to be in this section as well. So there you go. Nightmare Christmas is one of my favorite movies of all time. For Halloween and Christmas, it should be enjoyed by all. I love Zero, he's so cute. Jack is an awesome character, I like him as well. And all around, a great musical. It should be a musical at some point. What do you guys think? Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on this one. I just want to say that it's one of my favorites, and I'll mention it more in the Halloween one. The Rise of the Guardians. This movie I gotta recommend because it's really good. But the reason why I didn't put it on this list either is because it's also an Easter movie. So I would put it in my favorite Easter movies as well. But either way, it's still a great movie, and it's recommended right here with Christmas and Easter. So I recommend you watch it both holidays, as well as The Night Before Christmas. The Snowman. This movie was, well, it's a short, really. It's based on a book that really was made into a book. But I grew up with this movie and the book a lot when I was a kid. I even have a stuffed animal version plushie of him that I sleep with every night. So I gotta admit, this movie is really special to me. So, it's a rather minor thing I like. I watch it every year just for a quiet, calming little cartoon to watch. So I highly recommend it. It's definitely a take back from the actual Christmas specials and watch things just relaxing like this one. The Little Drummer Boy. This movie is also a classic, as well as Frosty the Snowman. But it really depends on your pick. So, I just put them all on here just for anyone who likes these things. So, The Little Drummer Boy is a very classic and very cute one as well. I highly recommend that one as well. Santa Claus is Coming to Town. I mentioned this one in my Santa Claus Origins show that I'm making, the new one I'm making. So, hopefully you guys will like that one too. So, I'll leave it up to that video right here. And now for number 1. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. This movie is like a thing I grew up with ever since I was a kid. This movie has really been my favorite for a longest time. Probably because it's the story of a person who's different, kind of like me in a sense. It's a very personal way of me connecting to this one story that I love very much. It really taught me how to stick out from the crowd and know that everyone's special in their own way. And that it really relates to me. And now that we got to all my best movies, here are the worst ones. Here are the top 5 worst movies. Number 5, Rhapsody Kids Believing in Santa Claus. I should really mention that this is my personal opinion, and if you like any of these movies, that's great. This is just my personal opinion. If you like, I'm glad you like this movie that I can't. So anyway, moving on. Kids Believing in Santa Claus is one of the worst things I ever saw. When I saw it on YouTube, I thought it would be very convenient to watch and see and be curious about it. But unfortunately, what people said about it was true. It was very bad. The animation is terrible. Everybody talks like they're in some kind of radio and you can't even hear a word they're saying. Especially the grandma. And I wasn't paying attention after the time. The story is really boring. I have to tell you, it's really all about just a person getting a gift. It's very generic, to be honest. if I were to say what the best Disney Christmas story would be, it would have to be about whether you believe in Santa Claus, or you can just take it as a lesson. Instead, it just goes off about this one kid getting a teddy bear for this one girl that he likes. That's it. It's really nothing too special. Number 4, The Christmas Story. Now, don't go on bashing me here, but this movie is really, really bad. Now, here's the reason why. This movie hasn't really aged well to me. For what it is, people just watch it just to put in the background. But I have seen for what the movie truly is, and you should know that to me, this movie is the most horrible thing I have ever seen. And here's why. Let's start with the main character, Ralphie, who wants a BB gun for Christmas. He keeps asking everybody that he wants one, but nobody ever listens to the guy. He's always tortured by these bullies, and also by his own family, who make him wear bunny pajamas. I can't tell you how entertaining this is. Even Santa Claus from the small doesn't even like him either. He pushes them down the slide like he's just this kid. I'm sorry, but everybody in this movie is such a jerk to Ralphie. He's just trying to be a kid, wanting to try a new toy, and I know how it went out for me. And look at me. He just wants to be like a kid, and everybody is just torturing the poor kid. I can't tell you if this is entertaining or not. And I don't really get the lamp joke either. And honestly, there are some jokes I just don't understand in this movie. It really tried to catch my attention by telling a story from Ralphie's point of view, but having to see him being tortured by his family and his friends is just horrible to watch. Even when he says the F word, it's still very horrible. He actually meant it. And everybody just expects him to say sorry for it? I'm sorry. No, they deserved it. It doesn't really matter to me. So, I'm sorry, but this movie I just can't stand. If you like it, good for you. But as for me, I just can't stand it. Number 3, Babes in Toyland. This movie is definitely out of bonkers. It's all over the place. Now, that's one reason why I hate this movie. It's very creative. It definitely has potential, but it's really all over the place. Everything is going on at once, and you can't even tell what's going on. But the reason why it's very low on my list is because, well, I think it is very bad and all over the place. Some of the things in here are actually pretty good and fun to watch, like the villains and the characters. They really have tried their best, and the actors do a pretty good job. So I can't say it's all that terrible. And they had good ideas. If only they could stick with one thing and make it better. Number 2, Home Alone 3. I really like 1 and 2. But this one just takes the thing to a whole new level. This one's not even about Kevin for once. It's about this one boy who receives a car, and these people want to get it. And it's the strangest thing. Why is this even a Christmas movie? It's about this one motion control car. It just seems like a very strange and made-up story. It doesn't really make much sense to me. If maybe if the car was like explosive, maybe? Or maybe the car could have been worth $1 million? Then again, it's just a remote control car. They want it for no reason, and it just seems like a little bit weird. It's all over the place. I'm sorry, but nothing is great about this kid either. While Kevin does it to defend himself, this kid just does it just for fun. And I don't know, I just feel like he's a little too mean to them. I don't know, what do you guys think? Number 1. But before I get to number 1, here are a few honorable mentions. Frosty and Rudolph's Christmas in July. This movie is rather loony and a little bit over the place in some type of way. But the reason why it's on the list is I can't help but realize how special this movie is. I actually really like it. It's actually really cute. And I love how Rudolph and Frosty and the other characters bounce off of each other. I can't really say it's that bad of a movie. I think it's a really good and awesome movie for any Rankin Bass fan out there. For the most part, I think the reason why people don't like this movie is that it's a little bit all over the place, and some people just don't understand the world of Rankin Bass. But once you do, I think you'll deserve this movie very much more. But here it is as an honorable mention for some people who might not think of it as I do. The Christmas Carol. Now, to be fair, this movie's not for everyone, and for me putting on this list would be heartbreaking to some people, I feel, because it's a very dark movie. And I know if some people watched it, they would like it, if they like dark stuff. For me, it's just not the movie for me. But if you like it, that is fine. It is very creative, it has great animation, Tim Curry does a great job. It's just that it's not the greatest movie for me. I just don't like dark stuff. But as for you, it might be alright. I just think every ghost in this movie is a little too harsh to Scrooge. I know he's a bad guy and all, but he doesn't deserve this much. I don't know. And I just also think that the Christmas present should be a little bit more nicer to him, considering he's supposed to be the holly jolly guy, but really he's not. Towards the end, he gets real mean at the beginning. It's like everybody turns their back on Scrooge, like a betrayal. But anyway, again, it's not really for me. If you like dark stuff like this, then this is the movie for you. On the other hand, as for me, I don't like it that much. It's not really a bad movie. That's why I consider it an honorable mention. Arthur Christmas. I really tried with this one. I really did. But after a while, I kind of figured that it's a lot like Prep and Landing to me. And I guess it's whether you prefer. For me, I prefer Prep and Landing. For some people, they prefer Arthur Christmas. And that's alright with me. I just prefer that movie better over this one. And I feel like they're just a ripoff of the two. Grandma got run over by a reindeer. While this movie tried its best to be a good movie, I just didn't like it. It tried to be a classic, but the reason why the movie does not work out, because for one thing, the movie is everywhere. Not only that, but the characters are not really that engaging either. The only character I can say is good is probably the boy, but that's it really. His iconic accent would be nice and all, but really everything in this movie is all over the place. Every character is not even that heartwarming. I just can't see myself liking this movie. It's actually far from the actual song, too. It's not very accurate at all. The grandpa doesn't seem to be that great either. He tries to be funny, but his jokes don't really work so well. In fact, everybody here is just horrible. Even Santa. He's a really big jerk in this film. We don't even know why he keeps Grandma in his own workshop. For a while, they've been searching for her, and he's been keeping her all his time. He's like a kidnapper or something. I don't know. Anyway, to me, it is one of the worst movies ever. And that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed my top 5 worst and best Christmas movies. Sorry it was a little too late, but I hope you enjoyed it in either way, whatever holiday it is. And maybe you guys can watch it next year, if you guys don't feel like watching it now. Goodbye!